Hello and welcome back to Empires and Puzzles with Tom
Hannah?
and this is the second part of our war tutorial. If you haven't seen the first part, then you should definitely check it out. The descriptions or the link will be in the description of this video. And in the previous part, we've talked about the tank selection, so which tank you should choose, how to choose it, and how to build the team around the tank. In this video, we are going to be talking about general attack strategy. So not attacking individual teams, but attacking in general as a clan and what strategy should be applied over here. If that sounds interesting, please remember to subscribe to the channel because we will have, I think, at least another part of this video. So you don't want to miss it probably if you enjoy this one. And later on in the video, if you decide that this brings you some nice value, please hit that like button underneath. It helps the channel out to reach more audience and more inform more people. Okay, so to the point, general attack strategy. The first thing that I really want to emphasize is that it really pisses me off tremendously when people are participating in wars and then they are not using all 6 of their attacks.
Why is it?
Well, that is because you, and I will say this later again, actually we might say it now, when you're being matched with another clan for war, right?
Yeah.
You're always being matched with a clan that has the same number of participants, right? So if you're participating with 25 people, you will be fighting the clan that has 25 people. So that means that everybody has an equal chance of doing 25 times 6 attacks, right? So every clan will have 150 flags, right?
Yep.
And if someone from your clan doesn't use his flags, so just maybe does just 3 attacks or doesn't do any attacks, and the enemy team uses all the attacks, then you're basically losing the chance to get, like, whatever your average player gets in terms of points, but it might be like 200 points, and 200 points might mean that you lose the battle with another clan or win the battle with another clan. So you really have to make sure that people who are participating in war are using all of their flags. Participating in wars is not mandatory. You can say,
really?
Yes, you can say that you don't want to participate in wars, and then you play in a clan, you get all the benefits from the clan, but you do not participate in wars. You are not here on a board. You don't have to play the battles, and you also are not getting rewards from the war, obviously, right? But this is the choice that you can make. So if the player is busy, for example, and he knows or she knows that will not have time to play the war hits, before the war you can uncheck yourself, but you can only do it before the war matchmaking, right?
Yep.
Before you're matched with another clan, because after you are matched, remember that again the matchmaking tried to match them equally, right? So then you can't lose a player because it's not going to be a fair battle anymore.
Are you doing that sometimes? Are you unchecking yourself?
I have never done that yet, because war is actually one of the most enjoyable parts of this game, and I really like playing wars. I did consider unchecking it at some point where I was really busy with work, but I communicated with the clan and I told them the situation. I told them that it might happen that due to my business I might miss war hits, and I'm okay with unchecking myself because I don't want to risk the clan being on a worse position.
Yeah.
But they just told me to stay, and if I miss the hits, I miss the hits. They said that they will be okay with it, and being as competitive as I am, I actually didn't miss any. So maybe sometimes I played them a little bit faster than I should. I didn't put a lot of thought into this, but I always used all of my flags. Anyway, I really want to emphasize it. People who are not using all 6 of their flags are just buttholes. Right? They really should reconsider what they are doing. And having said that, I also realized that accidents happen sometimes, right? So your phone might break down. right? Your battery might run out, although you should plan for this really. You might, you might have an emergency and need to go to the hospital, right? Lots of different things can happen, and I can understand this. But it also very often happens, at least, in my clan. Okay, very often is a bad word. Sometimes it happens that people just come and say, well, I overslept. I don't care if you overslept. You should have had a ring in your phone set, or an alarm in your phone set. I don't really care. This is a stupid excuse, right? Or people just say that they had a good party, they drank too much, and they were not able to come here. So I don't want to elaborate on this. I just hate these kind of situations. Let's move on. Learn the mechanics of war. This is also important to know some basic information about how the war actually works, because it will help you get the most out of it. So the first important thing is that the board, right? So the board is, all the people that you can see over here on one side and on the other side. The board is always worth 1,500 points. So all the players together are worth this amount, which means that those points are divided then into the players, right? Why is it interesting? Well, that's because sometimes you might be thinking, well, if I have less players in the clan, then I will be getting less points. No, not really, right? Because you will have less players in your clan, you will have less players in the enemy clan, but also every player then will be worth more points, right? So if if I have 30 players in the clan,
so it's actually better to fight.
Oh, they rested the board. So now you can see that there are green tanks. We were talking about tank selection in the previous video. Now you can see that we have green tanks everywhere. Okay, ask your question, sorry.
So, well, I don't know how to say it, actually.
Well, try.
So, I wanted to ask, because what were I talking about?
You forgot what you were going to ask.
But I know, no. But just remember, I cannot remember.
We were talking about board points.
Oh yeah, so know that it's like better to fight an enemy, and if you have less people in your clan,
then what?
Then the enemy team has less people in their clan, and every enemy is worth more points and then it's like better to fight it because you'll earn more points.
No.
Really?
No, yeah, because in the end you will get more or less the same amount of points. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have 30 people in a clan, which is max, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that everyone has exactly the same heroes in their defense teams, right? This means that every hero, every player will be worth 50 points, right?
Yeah.
10 times 50 is 500. 500 times 3 gives you 1,500. Correct?
Yeah.
Is my math correct? Yeah, I think it is. So that you will get 30 times 50, which gives you 1,500, right? If you have 10 people in a clan, you will be matched with another clan that has only 10 people as well. And then if everybody has exactly the same defense team, how much each player will be worth? It's 1,500 divided into 10 players. So it's 150 points per player, right?
Okay.
So individually as a player, yes, you will get more points, right? Because, let's say that currently I'm getting around 270, 80 points per war, right? But if I play a war with just 10 players and I still have 6 flags during the whole war and all of my attacks are on point, right? Then, it's possible that I get 900 points for war.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, right? But then as a clan, you're still getting more or less the
Well,
same amount of points
as a clan, but
as a clan.
you are getting more.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how many points you get. It doesn't give you anything additional, right? You're fighting as a clan. The war is all about the clan strength, not about individual player strength. So the board will always give you 1,500 points. Why is this important? Because you will have to reset the board. Resetting the board means that you kill all the players on the board, right? So you saw that our board got reset over here, which means that they killed all of our players, and then the board resets, so gets refreshed, and everybody is brought back to life. And you will have to plan how many times you want to bring the board down during the war, because you have to use all the flags. Okay, so the next one is the total points for a single enemy depend on the HP of the heroes he has in his defense team, right? So if you go over here, you will see. Actually, you won't. Our team will be a good example, right? So you will see, for example, that for this player, you will get 51 points, right?
Yep.
You will see that if you go over here, this player will give you 53 points.
Where are
right?
you seeing that?
Their points are at the bottom, right? If you go over here, you will see that there are points over here, right? You have to sum it up. This player will give you 60 points, right?
Yeah.
So depending on the team that the player has, the points are distributed differently among the actually players in your clan or in the enemy clan, right? And the amount of points is depending on the HP. And I'm emphasizing that because sometimes you might be like, okay, this guy is worth 60 points and his team is 4,583, and this guy, which is me, has very similar strength, right? 4,560, but I am worth only 54 points, right? So 6 points less, and you might be wondering why. The strength of the team is the same, but that's because the HP of my team is lower, right? Because I have different heroes, and different heroes have different HPs. So this is where it's coming from. The next one to remember is that the enemies will respawn if you kill them after a period of time, and this period of time is set, and it depends on the number of times this enemy has been brought down.
I remember.
Right? So if you kill someone for the first time during war, the counter will start, right? Like over here. This guy got killed, and you can see that the counter is going, right? And the counter is showing 12 hours. But that's because he's been killed for the 4th time during this war. If the player is killed for the first time, then the counter is showing 6 hours. And after 6 hours, he will respawn. You will be able to kill him again. Then you need 8 hours to kill him. Then you need 10 hours to kill him. Then you need 12 hours to kill him. And you will probably go very rarely above 12 hours. Actually, is this possible? 6 plus... Yeah, if you reset the board, then maybe it is possible, because if they would be able to reset the board again, then it doesn't matter what the counter says, you will still get respawn. The whole clan will get respawn, right? So this is kind of to speed it up. And we will talk more about how to work with this a little bit later. So what does that tell you actually, that these timers are like this? Well, this brings you to an important part of the strategy actually, that many of the clans use, which is go for weak players first, right? Because you are probably going to bring the board down, well, depending on the strength of your clan. If you're a weak clan, then probably once. If you're a medium clan, then probably twice. If you're a strong clan, probably 3 times. Is it possible to do 4? Yeah, I think it's possible to do 4 times even. Yes, right.
Did
so
you do it?
No, I don't think we ever got the board down 4 times yet. So depending on the strength of your clan, you will be bringing boards down. And if you are not a very strong clan and you can't bring the board down easily, just by going after everyone all the time, then the better strategy is to go after the weaker players first,
But why?
because they will respawn after 6 hours, and then you will be able to hit them again, right? So if you have to hit the board, the whole board, then you have to hit the weak players and the strong players from the enemy team,
Yeah.
right? So you will probably lose some flags going after strong players, right? So you want to limit the number of times that you will have to attack those strong players, but you still have to use the flags. So that means that you have to find a way of using those flags on weaker players instead,
Look,
right? So
you are not using it on a weaker players. You are searching for a strong player.
I am, but I will explain it later why. That's a good point, but this is also on purpose, and this is not because, you know, I just want to fight strong opponents. This is because I think this is the best solution for my clan. That the players with strong teams should go for strong opponents. Because if
yeah.
I don't do that, then the guys with the weaker teams will probably lose, you know, 3 flags, 4 flags to bring the opponent down, where I can do it with 1 flag, or you know, I might also fail, but then I might hurt them hard enough so that it's way easier for the weaker player to finish them off.
Yep.
Good. So going for weaker players first makes sense, because they will respawn after 6 hours, and after 6 hours you can hit those weak players again, right? So we, for example, do it like this. We pick more or less 10 people from the enemy clan that are the weakest, and we are saying this is the limit of strength that we go for, and we only attack those 10 weaker players at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And then after they respawn, we are saying, okay, we are attacking them again, but now we're actually going for the whole board. So by that time we have 10 players that are already dead, and then they are revived, respawned. We bring down the whole board, and after the whole board is reset, we again attack only the weak players, those 10 weak players again, right? So we are bringing them how many times already?
3.
3, right? First just the limit, then the board, and then the limit again. And then we wait for them to respawn again,
Yep.
and we bring them down with the board. So this is the second time we bring the board down, and this is the 4th time we take the weak players down, right? So notice we brought the board down 2 times
Yep.
now. So the strong players we had to deal with 2 times only, and weak players we've dealt 4 times already, right? And after we bring the board down for the second time, then, you know, depending on how well we are doing, we basically go for everyone else remaining. But again, we start with those weak players because they are the easiest points, right?
Yep.
So this means that we attack the easiest players 5 times during the war, and the strongest players sometimes will be attacked only twice,
Sometimes 3 times.
sometimes 3 times if we manage to bring the board down for the 3rd time. So you can see how it benefits us, right? Because, you know, every flag is worth just 1 attack,
What's
right?
the time of the war?
The time of the war is 24 hours, right? So within this 24 hours, you need to bring them down as many times as possible.
Because there are 3 hours left.
Yes, on our war, there are 3 hours left, so we are approaching the time when we will have to do the war hits. Okay, the next one is finishing off the enemy gives you additional points. So this is something that I just want to emphasize. Every enemy has 2 point pools, kind of, right? So currently available points is this is something that comes from the hero's HP and the, you know, hero's distribution, and then there is also bonus points for victory, and those points you will only get when you kill the enemy, like finish them off completely, right? So that for example, this is kind of, I don't know why it's done like this, because, you know, I don't see a really good reason for it, but what it actually does is it makes some people think that, okay, if I finish off someone, I'm actually getting the most points. So it's best for me to attack people that are already weakened, right? So, you know, why would I go and struggle with, you know, with Adi over here, having a pretty strong team with Lady of the Lake and Vela and stuff, when I can attack this guy who is already weakened, doesn't have a tank, right? And I'm practically guaranteed to win, and I will get still almost 40 points. Well, the problem is, and you know, for if I go for Adi and I kill, for example, Lady of the Lake only,
Yeah.
right? How many points will I get? Like 9,
Yeah.
right? So it's 9 versus 40, and I'm thinking, well, I prefer to have 40 points,
Yeah.
right? So I get a better result in war. Well, the fact is that how many points you get during the war doesn't really matter. What matters is how many points you will get as a clan, not as an individual, right? So it's a bad way of thinking to consider just finishing off weak enemies, because this will give you more points in war. You should always think about what is the best strategy that I can take to best help my clan get the most points, right?
Oh, somebody has the same team as you. Oh no, it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
I'm Zabula.
So this is also something to think about, that finishing off the enemy gives you more points, but it really doesn't matter whether you get more points or less points. What matters is how many points you get as a clan. So this is why, for example, we have players that are always going for full teams, like me, right?
Yep.
You've noticed that I'm never going for weakened teams like this, because we have weaker players, and it's their job to finish off those weaker teams, because then it gives them the chance to use one flag and finish off the enemy, which you should always aim for, right? You should always aim for killing the enemy off with one attack. If you can't do this, then you know someone else will take the hit after you tried, and hopefully he or she will be able to bring the person down with her or his first flag, but in general the second flag that is used on the attack for this player. Okay. And we've also already mentioned that you will always be matched with a clan with the same number of participants. So this is kind of important as well. So you should never worry that you will have less attacks than the enemy team, which means that the wars will always be fair, right? I mean, the enemy team, the enemy team or the enemy clan might be a little bit stronger in points, right? So if you look at clans, you have points over here, score, right? So we have 234,000, and the enemy clan has 234,000. Wow, this rarely happens, but we are basically almost evenly matched, right? In terms of points, in terms of score, clan score. But, because both of the clans have exactly the same number of flags, so the same number of attacks, I always think about this as the chances of winning being equal. Obviously, the enemy clan might have stronger heroes, right? Yeah. So they might have better defenses, so it might be more difficult for us to break through their defenses. But the number of flags is equal, so if you manage to find the right tiles on your boards and work with them, then you always have a chance to win the war, even with a stronger clan, which happens for us sometimes.
But I'll have to just come, you'll not find them.
I will not find the tiles?
They'll have to come to you.
Oh, they will have to come to me.
Yeah.
Kind of, but you also need to make the best moves possible to give yourself the best chance of getting those good tiles. Am I right?
Yep, because you have to open a door for them.
Yeah. All right, I think that, it's 24 minutes, so I think we are running to the end of the second part. Definitely a third part is coming, because there are still a lot more points that I want to emphasize here. I'm not sure if we will be able to fit into just one remaining videos. We will see, I guess. So stay tuned, look out for the third part, and in the third part we will be talking in more details about actually picking the right opponents and getting your teams ready, and a little bit more sophisticated strategy of actually fighting the war in terms of the individual player. Right? Sounds good?
Yep.
All right. So we are off to our breakfast, and after breakfast I think it will be time to do the war hits. So hold your thumbs for us,
Yeah.
wish us good luck, and we will see you in the next videos.
Bye.
Bye, take care.